What's up, guys? Red Wolf here, and welcome to a new series on the channel. We're going to be checking out PGA Tour 2K25. It's early release day as we get to see the first glimpses of 2K25 coming out. We're going to start a MyCareer series. We're going to choose to do Dwayne Carter. Lil Wayne is going to take a break from his rapping days, and he's going to try his chops out on the golf course. We get to see a preview of the round there. And that's what Lil Wayne, is going to look like. We went with a technician archetype. I was choosing between that and the magician, but I decided technician was the one I wanted to go for. Dwayne is going to start at Q School. We could have started on the PGA Tour, but I don't think it would have been right for Lil Wayne not to have to work his way up, just like he did into the rap game. We're going to up the difficulties a little bit. I want to go with Pro to begin with, maybe bump to Master at some point. Normal conditions, 4 rounds per event, dynamic round length with dynamic holes to play. I might keep those settings the same until we get to the PGA Tour. When I originally recorded this video, I had a live commentary over it, but some editing mistakes recorded the audio tracks together and I was unable to separate the mic from the gameplay. So we're going to have to do a post commentary for this video, and hopefully in the future, for future videos, we will have live comm over the gameplay. We get to meet our agent, Troy Anderson. He's excited to work with us. We're meeting him just before our first event. He is giving us some tips, telling us there is a player influence contest. We're going to try to reach 10 million followers. That's going to take a while. We're just over 2,000 right now in terms of popularity. We're going to say it sounds good. Not going to say it's easy. You would think Lil Wayne comes into this with a lot more followers than he has currently. But a lot of those fans have not translated to the PGA Tour as of yet. We're going to try to bring over all of our fans, and we're going to do what we can to improve and get to the PGA Tour. In this year's game, we get to choose between 3 personality types: bold, composed, and reserved. With Dwayne Carter, we're going to choose to be bold. We're going to take some attributes from that bold personality trait and apply them when we have conversations and anything else. We're going to try to boost our popularity, see if our personality will remain bold instead of unknown. But we're going to go ahead and get started here at TPC Sawgrass, our first career tournament at the Korn Ferry Tour Q School. We really want to do well in this first tournament. We'll get to see how Dwayne Carter thrives on the golf course. When I first started playing, it seemed very easy. You'll see me make a change later, but I forgot to change the difficulty on the shots. So these first few shots, the first round that I play, is with that difficulty unchanged. I hit a lot of very good shots where the difficulty is not raised. I should have missed a lot more shots than I did based on how I pushed it, or if the club face was open or closed. But we hit a lot of good shots, and that'll help in this first round. I realize it sometime in the second round after the hole 2 or 3, but we'll see what happens when we get there. I did choose to do the dynamic sim. We're going to jump in and play 5 holes in round 1. Through 3 holes, we are at -1, tied for 4th early on. Our driver currently goes 267 yards. And on this first shot of our career, we're going to try to hit the fairway. 264 down the middle. It's a par 4, 387 yards. A couple practice swings on the backswing. Now we come through, and that is a pretty good hit. Open contact, we pushed it a little bit of an underswing, but it's still going to roll out over 280 yards. A lot of the swings I have open club faces and I push it. So you'll see that even with those mistakes, the ball is still going to travel relatively perfectly. It's not until I make that change that we start to see some mistakes start to happen. Now our approach shot 204 yards out. We're going with our 56-degree wedge. Going to try to land it in the big part of the green. See if it can't roll up to the pin. Just a little baby fade going in. Looks like it's heading straight for the green. And that's a pretty good shot. We just don't get over that ridge, and the backspin propels us back down the hill toward the water. It comes to a stop, though. We hit it 87 yards. It'll be about a 60-foot putt if I had to guess. up over a ridge. A big right to left break here, but it could be our first birdie since we started playing. 54-foot putt. Going to try to get on this hill, let it come back down off of it, see if we can't bank it into the hole. A lot of power behind this shot, trying to get it up over that hill. Going to go out even further, maybe hit the fringe a little bit. And this first attempt is an incredible underswing. We don't make it more than 10 feet. We do get closer, though. It's a 44-foot putt now instead of 54. But that was a pathetic first putt of our series. I'm not that great at golf games right now. It's something I do want to get better at. I am better at the golf games than I am at golf in real life, though. I would have already found the water on this first hole if we were playing this in real life. But now for bogey on our first hole of 5, still at -1. We'll see if we can get this little left to right breaker. This does start out right to left here at the ball, but we'll see how much it breaks as it gets to the hole. I do decide to go kind of straight on, but I should have gone a little bit more to the right, as that break at the beginning was just a little bit too much to overcome at the hole. And that'll leave us with a double bogey attempt from 4 feet away. We just lip it in. Almost missed there to cause a triple bogey on our first hole of 5. Nonetheless, we are at +1 after 4. The leader is at -3 so far, so we're not that far from the leaders. But we're going to have to be a little bit more consistent with the putter. Second hole we're playing is number 5. It's a par 4, 451-yard par 4. Again, in real life, if I was playing this hole, it would take me about 7 shots to get to the green. On this game, I hope to get there in 2, and hopefully we can get one of those strokes back that we just lost. Again, that was a 13-degree open club face, and we hit it straight down the middle. I don't realize it at this point. I just thought I was doing a lot better than I thought I would, but we'll start to see those changes get made later in the video. But 150 yards out, we're currently at our 8-iron. We're going to go a little bit past the pin, see if we can't get on this ridge behind the pin with a little backspin to see if it can't spin back toward the cup. That was a better swing, but we are still extremely open at contact. That probably should have been off to the right in the trees, but somehow we hit the green. We do hit the ridge, and it's going to roll back out to the right. That'll leave us with a manageable birdie putt as we hit this one 153 yards with our 8-iron. Not too bad of a shot for Dwayne Carter in our second hole with him. A 16-foot putt now is a right to left breaker. If we hit it too hard, we will end up off the green. Quickly change back to our putter as we inadvertently change to our driver. Another open contact and a push, but we sink a birdie putt on our second hole of the round. We make up one of those strokes that we lost on the double bogey, and we birdie number 5. Great job from Lil Wayne there, getting the birdie, and we're back to even through 5 holes. Reggie Kobayashi still the leader. We'll see how the rest of this round turns out. Hole 6 now is a par 4. We're going to try to go for back-to-back birdies here. It is a lot shorter, 383 yards, about 70 yards shorter on the distance. We're going to try to avoid this tree right here at the tee box. See, I think we can get underneath it with our drive. And it just does get underneath it. That's a pretty good looking drive. And a better swing. We had 100% on the transition. A pretty big push, but the club face was a lot better on that contact. We drive this one about 280. I can't wait for our Dwayne Carter to increase his attributes to where we are driving the ball 300 yards consistently. But 103 yards to the hole now on our second shot. We're tied for 12, sitting at even par. We're going to go past the pin a little bit because if I hit that front ridge, it's going to roll back off the green back into the fairway. We don't want to see that. We're going to try to hit the big part of the green just to the left of this pin, see if we can't roll it back into the cup. And that's another good shot. It's a little baby fade, 12.4 degrees open on contact with a push. So again, it really should have been off there on the other hole across the cart path, but we end up on the green 12 feet away for a birdie putt. This time we have a left to right breaker. Doesn't seem to be a huge break. We're going to go 2 or 3 cups out to try to sink back-to-back birdies and move back to under par. It's tracking, hits the right side of the cup, and falls in. That's back-to-back birdies for Dwayne Michael Carter, sitting at -1 through 6 holes of our first event. We want to win Q School, or at least get in the top 25 so we can advance to the Korn Ferry Tour. I really want to improve and get to the PGA Tour as fast as we possibly can. I don't want to be stuck down here in Q School or the Korn Ferry Tour. We're going to play 2 more holes in this round. The next one is a par 4, number 7. The drive is right down the middle. Again, almost 10 degrees of a push and 13 degrees open. And we still end up right down the middle. At this point, I'm thinking I'm the greatest golf player there's ever been, because even with these mistakes, we're ending up in the middle of the fairway. At first, I thought it was just the forgiveness from the technician archetype, but I was wrong. 150 yards or so on the approach shot, looking to get close to get a 3rd straight birdie. We're going to go for the big part of the green again. A little baby fade. Is tracking right toward the middle of the green. Perfect transition. It bounces a couple times, comes to a stop. We end up with about a 20 to 25 foot putt attempt. As Dwayne Carter walks up to the green at 7, waving to his fans. Got some people following him today on the Q School Tour. 24-foot putt here. Going for about 55% on the power. It is a downhill putt. We're going to see how this breaks right to left. We don't want to go too far past the hole. We do underswing it. I was scared of that hill, and I think we're going to miss it just to the left. We do. It rolls out past the hole by about 7 feet. So coming back up the hill now is a little bit of a right to left. 7-foot putt. We're going to go to about the outside edge of the cup, maybe half a cup out to the right, and that's going to drop dead center, and we end up with a par. -1 through 7. Oscar Islas is now pacing the field at -3 through only 5 holes. He started out extremely hot. Now a 237-yard par 3. I'm not going to talk about this a ton, but if this was a real-life hole, it would take me about 4 shots to make it to this par 3 green. We're going to try a little baby fade, see if we can't kick off this hill and roll out toward the hole. Put a little bit of backspin on it so we don't roll out too far since we're using the 3-wood. Maybe land it toward the front of the green. We'll see where Dwayne Carter ends up here. A huge push, a huge open contact. It doesn't matter though. The forgiveness helps. And we end up on the green. A really good shot that ends up a little bit to the left of where we were wanting it to be. But we still have a chance for birdie for maybe 30 feet. A big shot here. We really need to end up close to the hole to save par if we need to. We have a big left to right breaker and a downhill putt here. If we go past the hole, you can see that big ridge on the opposite side. Our return putt will also be downhill. We just miss above the hole and we end up close to it. That'll give us an opportunity for a par from about 3 feet. And we hit it to the right side of the cup and it drops to end up with a par on our 5th hole as we head back to the sim at -1 after 8 holes. I like this little dynamic round we are able to play. It's sim some. We get to see the dynamic leaderboard, but we also get to pick and choose the 5 or 6 holes that we can play without taking the time to play an entire round. We're still -1 through 17. Finish at -1 for the round, dropping to 14th already. The leader, Kobayashi, is at -4 through 18. Islas is still at -3 after he was -3 through 5. As the round comes to an end, though, we get to see Dwayne Carter down in the 20s. We're going to end up 24th right now on the leaderboard. Not bad for our first attempt at this series, as Dwayne Carter finishes at -1. I'm having fun so far. I really had fun with this first round. I don't think I'm going to have as much fun as we head through the difficulties and continue to make this game more difficult. But now to the second round. We start on hole 6 this time, sitting at -1 for the tournament, even for this round, tied for 17th, as our first swing is an overswing, open, and a push, but we end up right down the middle. It's at this point that I start to realize that I should not be hitting these balls as good as I have. We're going to start to see if we can make a change somewhere, find the difficulties, find the settings to change it and make the game more difficult. Golf should not be this easy. But our second shot on hole 6 is a 90-yard approach shot, going with a 60-degree wedge, a little bit of backspin on it. Try to sit this ball down, maybe kick left off that small ridge in the middle of the green. Another open push on the overswing, but we end up middle of the green right where we were aiming, pin high. Going to be a right to left putt from 12 feet out. We really just need to get close again to save par if we cannot sink this birdie putt. Dwayne lines it up, and he misses it low, and it's going to trail on past the hole and end up close to the fringe. Now the return putt is a 7-footer. Still not a gimme, as it is a pretty tough left to right breaker from 7 feet away, trying to get this just right. As we're going to go to strike it and see if we can't sink the putt. And it was not as big of a break as I thought it was. The huge open club face obviously did not help. We pulled it to the left, but we bogey and we end up at even for the tournament. Not a very good start to the second round, as we're at even through 6 holes in round 2. Back to hole 7. We saw this back in round 1, and there's another perfect swing. After an open contact and a push on the swing path, we hit another shot right down the middle. It rolls out close to 300 yards, and it really cuts down the distance on our approach shot. This is where I start to decide that there's something not right. We go into the difficulties and we start finding the gameplay difficulty preset. We change that up to go to pro instead of the perfect swing that it was set on. We're also going to go down and look at the Pro Vision Wind. We're going to turn that on because I want to try some of these different features in the game and see how they work, see what I can use effectively. But we finally make the game a little bit more difficult. We'll see if it makes a difference. It probably will, because I'm not very good, but we'll see. As Dwayne Carter has a 150-yard approach shot, we get to see the difference in the HUD right there. It is a 2-foot rise on this shot. We're going to go with an 8-iron trying to hit the green. As you can see, we finally get to see a horribly hit shot on a huge push, and the contact being open, we end up in the rough, taking out some of our fans. But finally, we get to see some of that difficulty making an arrival. But now we get to chip. The chip is not easy, especially from the rough when we're not getting clean contact. It is heavy rough. We're going with a 60-degree wedge here. Not a bad contact there. We bounce it just off the green, but it's going to roll out past the hole, close to a 30-plus yard shot from 18 yards away from the pin. So we're looking at about a 30 to 40-foot putt coming back up the hill now. This will be for par from 24 feet. A very difficult putt. Not a ton of break on it, but it is going to break early and then flatten out toward the hole. We go out to the left. I don't think I went out far enough, and we pushed it. We also went with an underswing, and we end up 2 feet short. Now a bogey putt from 3 feet, trying to hit it, and we sink it for the bogey. So we get to see the first glimpses of the difficulty making a difference as we push that shot almost into the water, but we find the rough for the first time. Now we get to see the long par 3, 239 yards. That pin is tugged way back in that left-hand corner. We're going to try a little fade with some backspin on the ball from our 3-wood. We hit this shot. It's another closed face, not as bad as it could have been, not as big of a push. And that's actually not a bad shot right in the middle of the green. That should set up for a 2-putt to come away with a par. I was impressed by that swing, the first tee box shot we had since we upped the difficulty. But we end up on the green, and we have a chance at birdie from 25 feet away. It is slightly downhill. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. It's only 4 inches. But we try to go way out right. It's a big right to left break. As it's tracking toward the cup, but we just go out too far, and we push the ball so it's not able to break into the cup. 8-foot putt for par. Relatively straight on. Good swing path, and we get the par. Still sitting at +1 for the tournament. We're going to hole 9. The first par 5 we get to see in the series. Leader Owen Buchanan is at -8. He's done with his round. So we're still not too far off from the lead, but I would not expect us to see us on the leaderboard. The par 5 is hole number 9. It's a 574-yard par 5. And our driver only going 267 yards. It might take 2 or 3 shots to get there. A really good shot from the tee box, slightly closed, and a push, but we end up down that right side of the fairway. And that should allow us a good angle into the green. We might be able to take this 3-wood and get close to running it up onto the green. But we'll see. Going with a little bit of a hook, trying to roll this ball on the fairway up to the fringe, maybe even on the green. Going to go with a little bit of a lower shot to send it out with some spin. And that ball does not hook at all. It stays out to the right side with the open club face and a push. But we get a lucky bounce off the hill in the rough, and it rolls back into the fairway as we hit that about 240 yards. It actually ends up close to where I was aiming, but we just weren't able to get the spin and the roll out of it after it kicked off the rough. 50 yards away now with a little bit of an uphill shot. Going to go with a pitching wedge out to the left side of the green, maybe in the middle. See if we can't spin this ball back off the hill. We hit it, we push it to the right again, and it goes long. It's going to be about a 65 to 70 yard shot. We only needed 50. So we're on the opposite side of the green with an extremely difficult putt to try to get us close for a par. 63 feet away, a lot of break right to left early, then it goes left to right off that big hill. We're going to go right slightly and see if we can't get into this hill and get enough break to get us close to the cup. Open contact, another push, a little bit of an underswing. And that was not a bad attempt, but we went too far out to the right, and it's going to roll on past the cup some at about 77 feet. So about a 14-foot putt for par now. We have an opportunity to save par, stay at +1, tied for 46th. On this, our 4th hole out of 6 in round 2. Strikes it, not a bad strike right there. But we just misjudged the break, and it misses on the left side of the cup. A 4-foot putt coming back down the hill for bogey. Just need to tap this one in, go to the next hole, but we miss it, just completely misread the green, and we push it out to the right. Now for a double bogey on our 4th hole. Got to make this one. We don't need any triples on the scorecard. And luckily that one falls. We'll call that the Carter 7. That's a 7 on a par 5, +2 on that hole, +3 for the tournament. 2 more holes left. This one is a par 4. We are now tied for 82nd. We are dropping down that leaderboard after starting the day at 24th. Now down to 82nd. We got to stay within the top 25. A good strike here on the drive. A little bit of a hook, close contact, and a push. Ends up being a shot down the right side of the fairway. Rolls out to about 280 yards with an easy approach shot at only 130 yards with our pitching wedge. Again, we'll go to the big part of the green. I'm aiming for the middle of these greens. I don't want to try to get too cute, especially early when our attributes aren't as good. But if we can hit the big part of this green, we'll be in business. The shot is up. We push it again. We'll see if it kicks back or if it makes it on the green. It does kick back off the rough and into the bunker. Our first bunker shot. And it's a 5-foot drop from where we are to the hole, 9 yards away. We're going to try to land this just on the green. We'll see what this looks like. Not a bad shot, not a bad effort. It lands just on the green like we wanted, and it rolls out past the hole by about 5 yards. So coming back down the hill, about a 3-inch drop on this 14-foot putt for par. Want to stay at +3 for the tournament. We don't need to be dropping any more strokes. A really good effort, but we just misjudged the break again. It rolls back out to the fringe. It gives me the chip, but we're going to putt this ball. Don't trust myself with the chipping, so we're just going to putt it and hope it falls. A good effort, tracking right toward the left side of that cup, and it just does catch the lip and falls. We get lucky we don't have another double bogey on our scorecard. A good effort from Dwayne Carter gets it to fall, and we end up with just a bogey on that hole. Sitting at +4 for the tournament. as we are dropping in the standings down to 89th now, 12 shots off the leader. Last hole of this round that we're going to play, then we'll simulate the rest of it. 267-yard drive on this par 5, almost a 600-yard par 5. As we hit this one, push it out to the right, we find the fairway bunker after it bounces in the rough. Only a drive of 234 yards. I really messed up there. We're going to have to go short on this approach to give us a chance to go back at the green on shot 3. That ball's going to land in the fairway, and it's going to roll out. Hopefully it stays out of the bunker. It does slow up just enough and ends up in the rough right next to the bunker and leaves us with about 218 yards to the hole. Going with our 4-iron out of the rough, trying to land it on the front part of the green, let it roll out. We hit it, strike it not terribly, but it ends up well short of where we were aiming in the bunker. Life is a beach. Lil Wayne's just playing in the sand. Out of the bunker, 47 yards away, 6 feet up, so we're down deep in this bunker again. This bunker shot is not bad. We get close to the pin to give us an opportunity to save par. 45-yard shot out of the bunker. And we make this, we will stay at +4 for the tournament, which is exactly what we need. Lining it up, not a bunch of break here. We go out right, and we way overjudge the break. We'll end up with a bogey here on the last hole of this round. So this time we were +6 after playing well that first round, but now we're sitting at +5 for the tournament. Not very good for our prospects of making it to the PGA Tour. Let me know your guys' thoughts, though. I've enjoyed this first couple rounds that I've played. I haven't really messed with a ton. I'll keep playing with the settings, keep changing the displays. I also want to try to unlock and get more clothing because right now we're just wearing the generic unlocked items that are there. It does fit Lil Wayne a little bit, but I do think we need some more options. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, share it with your friends. The next episode will be rounds 3 and 4 of Q School, and then we'll see where we go from there. I will see you guys later.